A fellow Dharma practitioner once shared this story with me.
My mother is in the final stage of diabetes and is currently hospitalized.
She showed me a photograph of her mother and asked if I could observe the karmic causes behind her illness. Through special karmic circumstances, I have been able to perceive spirits and the karmic causes carried from people's past lives. The moment I looked at the photograph, I saw a creature lodged in her mother's bladder. It looked very much like a snake, but its body was swollen and bloated, with the appearance of a large eel that had been artificially fattened. I could not determine whether it was a snake or an eel, so I communicated with it spiritually. Why have you entered this woman's body? It can't be comfortable staying inside her bladder. What connection do you have with her? The swollen creature stirred slightly before bursting into tears.
They caught me and soaked me in medicinal wine.
Only then did I realize it was not naturally fat. It had become swollen after being preserved in alcohol for many years. I told my friend everything I had seen. At first, she was uncertain whether it was true, but after asking her family, she discovered that they had indeed used a snake to make medicinal wine. Because of this, the snake spirit still harbored deep resentment and was seeking vengeance, causing her mother's severe diabetes. I advised her to perform life release and recite the Peacock Wisdom King mantra to dedicate merit and help liberate the snake spirit. Having long believed in the law of cause and effect, she immediately followed the advice. Afterward, she wrote down her family's experience in an article entitled, "The Truth Before Our Eyes Cannot Be Denied," recounting the events as follows.
When my mother was admitted to the hospital, everyone in the family was deeply worried. Yet in my heart, I understood that this illness was the manifestation of karmic obstacles, and that she was almost certainly being troubled by karmic creditors. I immediately brought her photograph to my fellow practitioner, MTR, who possesses the ability to observe karmic causes. He discovered that the spirit of a snake was exacting revenge upon her. I was astonished because, as far as I knew, my mother had never had any contact with snakes. MTR then explained what he had perceived. It was actually someone in our own family who had soaked the snake in medicinal wine. Suddenly I remembered that our family had a large jar of medicinal wine. Looking from the outside, it appeared to contain nothing but herbs. I had never noticed a snake inside it. As soon as I returned home, I asked my father, "Dad, is there a snake inside our medicinal wine jar?" He answered,
"Yes, there is a snake inside our medicinal wine jar over there."
Several years earlier, one of his friends had given him a large snake. Not knowing what to do with it, he preserved it in medicinal wine. No one ever drank the wine, and after so many years, he had completely forgotten about it. I carried the jar out for a closer look. From the outside, I could only see medicinal herbs. Using a pair of long chopsticks, I carefully searched inside until I finally pulled out a snake. Alas, it was enormous. Along with it were a gecko, a seahorse, and several other creatures whose names I did not even know. In total, there were 7 animals preserved inside the jar. After removing every one of them, I respectfully placed them before me, offered prayers, and formally took refuge on their behalf. Then I recited the rebirth mantra 21 times before burying their remains behind a nearby temple. The following day, the snake spirit came to thank MTR. It said that it had been liberated and had been reborn in a heavenly realm. Afterward, I went to the temple to make offerings, sponsor the printing of Buddhist scriptures, perform life release, and engage in charitable deeds. I dedicated all of these merits to those animals. Every evening, I also recited the Diamond Sutra and prayed for their peaceful liberation. Eventually, my mother recovered well enough to be discharged from the hospital. The doctors declared that she had made a full recovery. However, while we were completing the discharge paperwork, she suddenly developed uncontrollable urination. As soon as MTR heard the news, he immediately sensed what was happening. Having encountered several similar cases before, he believed that more restless spirits were disturbing her. Around 3 o'clock that night, he began observing my mother's hospital room spiritually. Just as he suspected, 4 spirits were holding hands and dancing around her. At first, MTR considered requesting Bodhisattva Skanda's assistance in removing them. But then he thought, let me first rely on the strength of my own recitation. Both of us stayed awake throughout the night, spiritually protecting my mother. The following morning, MTR told me, "Your mother is still being disturbed by spirits. When you stay with her at the hospital tonight, continuously recite the Saringama mantra. Especially when her symptoms appear, do not stop reciting under any circumstances." I understood and faithfully followed his instructions. That night I recited the mantra continuously to protect my mother. The entire night passed peacefully, and the next day she was finally discharged from the hospital. Although these events took place many years ago, I still feel deep shame and remorse for the suffering those beings endured because of us. Just think about it. When one of our loved ones experiences even a small illness, we become overwhelmed with worry and anxiety. How much greater, then, must the suffering of those helpless animals have been? Their pain far exceeds anything we ourselves endure. Humans, plants, animals, all living beings deserve our protection and compassion. May we all learn to cherish life, cultivate kindness, show empathy, and respect the precious lives of every being that shares this world with us.